Y254. Imagine.
Thank you for staying with us on Y254 channel, and the SMS line is 22162. You can also tweet us at Y254 channel, hashtag Y254 news. And tonight with me is Emmanuel Vintric, a voiceover artist, and Jane Mutisya, a human resource recruiter. And my first question is, since you've all been through the system, that is the Kenyan education system, do you think that while in school you were really taught about the skills that you're using right now? Did you get them from school, or did you have to put more effort when you finished school to get those skills?
I think we didn't totally get them from school. I think close to 50% of it is from school, and then another 50% is from the job market. I mean, when you come from school, you go to the to your job, you think that you're ready. But actually you're not, because you weren't trained enough while you're at school. It doesn't give you complete or total the wholesome training that is deserved. Yeah.
Okay, for you, Jane, what is your experience?
I think it would be the same as him in the sense that everything needs a theory and a practical of it. Even the basics of how, if I explain to you how to make chapati, if you don't go and try and see how to make them, the first time you make them, they dry, or maybe they get banned and all that. So everything comes with the practicality of it. I think for me in school, it was very good theory. Even the subject that I got is, when you get to the ground, it's different. It's a different ballgame. You understand, but when you do, then now it's even becomes more clear than if it was just theory alone. Yeah.
So saying that it's a 50-50 thing, and we don't really expect it to be a 50-50, because you expect when you're finished with your school, when you're graduating and everything, you're ready, you're well equipped to go out there and make sure that you perform effectively. Vintric, what do you think can be done to make sure that these skills are given to the students in school?
I think the business world needs to come together with the schools, the institutions, and then they can talk about what are the new improvements in the job market, and then maybe they can collaborate on something, on a new syllabus or new curriculum or something, because there's a deficit between the institutions, the learning institutions, and the job market. There's a gap, and it needs to be bridged. Yeah.
So for you, Jane, you are a human resource recruiter, and I'm very sure you have really you've really had the experience with graduates who are coming probably to look for opportunities in your organization and stuff. What is a major challenge you can say that you face as a HR recruiter?
I think it's about the transferable skills. You see, in school you get very good technical knowledge. You get to understand that this is how to do ABCD. But then when it comes to the practical of it, and then other than just the technical skills, they are what we call the employability skills. You need someone to be a team player. You need them to be able to communicate well. You need them to be able to solve problems. You need them to have initiative. You need them to be able to have to be well-rounded. So other than what the school puts emphasis on, which is the technical. The technical, you're an engineer, so you're taught how to do this and this, the engineering bit of it. You're a HR, you're taught the HR work of it, the technical of every job. But most schools, and actually I think almost all the schools, will ignore now the other side of the coin, which is you don't work alone. Yeah, you need to relate, you need to communicate, you need to solve problems, you need to be creative and stuff like that. You need to have a very strong social work ethic. So when you come for the interviews, we'll be asking you questions to test all that. So there'll be questions that will be testing if you can do the job, which is not the technical. How do we do this and this and this? Then there'll be questions now to do with the personality, which is, I would say, it's the biggest gap that we face most of the times. Most of the time, even when you don't know how to do the job, you can be taught. And a good employer will not fail to hire you because you don't have the experience. It's still key. It's very, very key. But that will not be the biggest worry. The biggest worry would be when you can't complement the team because you lack this work ethic and you lack those other soft skills that are very key for you to survive in our workplace.
Okay, Emmanuel, as a young person, we have probably students, or we have young people out there who are very smart in doing what is expected of them. There's someone who is going to get into a place and they're going to operate that camera within seconds. But now talking about the communication skills, how to relate with those people in your workplace, how do you think we can instill such skills, or we can teach such people to really have such skills in their workplace?
I think there's no shortcut. It needs to be in the syllabus, it needs to be in the curriculum, because there's a gap. There's a gap, as she said, those soft skills, employability skills. When I'm studying, for example, engineering, I won't be taught how to handle myself in an interview or things like that. So it needs to be taught. I think even it's in the last semester, you can take a lesson or two, and then it can be taught. Yeah.
So now, do we blame the government that is in charge of making sure that the curriculum is in a certain way, or do we blame the lecturers, do we blame our teachers, or do we blame the students? Who is to blame for these all things?
I think everyone has a part to play. The lecturers have a part to play, the students have a part to play, and the business world itself has a part to play. So you can't solely blame the students for not knowing their skills when they really don't know how to, or they really don't know if they're needed. So everyone has a part to play. The business world needs to come together with the schooling institutions, and the students need to ask these questions. If I have a friend who's working, I think I need to ask this question. So everyone has a part to play.
So for you, Jane, probably now you've been out there, you've done all these recruitments, you've trained people on certain skills. What really do you think, apart from doing all that thing, can the students, the teachers in school who are dealing with these children, because you have them for very long here, so it's very tough for someone to come and really groom someone within a short period of time. What do you think teachers should really prioritize on this?
For me, I think it's about getting teachers who have also worked before, and they know that it's not just about getting to fix the camera. There are many other aspects that come with that. And then also, as part of the syllabus, I think it should be made matter for people to go for internships, you know, attachments, right from first year, so that you're able to now interact with the outside world. This person just came from high school, from home to college, and they might do their 4-year course without having an attachment, an experience to be out there with different people. So I think it should be made compulsory, that again, at least when during those long holidays, that it's compulsory that you have to go for internship. And maybe what the university would do is have partnerships, as it says, partnership to make sure that their students are actually placed, and they're able to be given that experience. And then they should partner with people like us, career coaches, and other people that would be willing to actually, you know, give back to society and be able to give these students the full picture of what we need, not just the technical skill, because most of them don't even have that understanding. Yeah. So when they have that first class, they think they're set, and they don't understand it when they come and you don't give them the job. Yeah.
Okay, so remember, you can be part of this conversation by sharing your views and comments to the number 22162. You can also tweet us at Y254 channel, hashtag Y254 news. Now, coming back to the attachment thing, because I feel in Kenya, that is what happens. You have to go through first year, second year, and third year, and then probably you get to go for your attachment at fourth year. And these are three months. And is that really enough for someone to really be out there and practice what they have learned, or get the opportunity to experience everything and to use every knowledge that has been impacted onto you?
In my opinion, even the state should make that that decision. It doesn't have to be pushed by the school, because I also know most people do it because it's a requirement in school.
Yeah, it's true.
So as parents, as the relatives to these people, even as the student, you must make it your business to build the experience. I don't even call it internship. Yeah, because when you finish that 4-year degree, you need a CV. It will not just be consisting of just cuts and grades that you got. You're competing. So you need to show that I've been there and better. I know how to do ABCD. We have had cases whereby even people come to the office and they can't even put pins in a stapler. The first time they're seeing that stapler is after 4th year, because they have never worked in an office. That's true. It happens. Or basics, very, very basic things, because they have never had that exposure. So for me, I would draw it back to the student. Make it your business to build experience. It doesn't even have to be an internship, because these are things that you can learn anywhere. Even in church, a community place that you're volunteering, just somewhere, but purpose to use your time in a better way, whereby you're building experience, not necessarily in what you're studying, but out there relating with other people, getting together challenges, you know, seeing them solve conflict, seeing you now playing how you have to play as a team play and stuff like that. And then when you're coming out by 4th year, now you'll be much better, whether you get an internship or not, but it has to be you going out to build your experience.
Okay, so Emmanuel, for you, you're a voice of artist. We know that this is something that really takes a lot. You really need a lot of skills to really make sure that your voice is appreciated and the customers or your clients are your voice is appealing to your clients. Did anyone really tell you this is how you should do it, or did you just have to do it by yourself?
I don't think so. No one told me. Yeah, and I went through the entire school system, but it's still not taught in schools. So it's something that you have to learn on the job. You have to get to the job, and then you get someone who's gonna teach you slowly by slowly. And it's really like, it's almost like a bit of wasting time, because these are things you can be taught way back in school, but still you have to learn on the job. So the first months you're not earning anything because you're still under mentorship or something. So it's something that needs to be implemented as soon as possible in schools. Yeah.
Now, for employer, Jane, for you, for employers who have to deal with such students probably who have gone through the system, but the system did not take time, or the lecturers, the teachers did not take time to talk about skills that they need. To such employers, what can you tell them to make sure that probably they don't become so harsh on this? Because we have employers who are not patient. They don't have time to train you how to operate a printer. They don't have time to operate you how to deal with other people. How can such employers make sure that they are not blaming these students for maybe that's one fault in them, because it may not even be the reason, their own reason as to why they are like that?
I think that would be a policy issue. So for a company that maybe has made it their policy, like you keep seeing people going for management trainees, graduate trainees. So such companies have already a policy. They want to impact knowledge and skills. Actually, I think when they take such graduates, they train like it's a clean slate, you know. They tell you that this is how it works, and I think it's well-rounded. I think Barclays has such a program where they teach people from how to do the interviews, how the workplace skills, or how to manage your money. So for me, I think it's about making it a policy from the government. Then if you have taken tons of graduates and you give them that benefit of doubt, that knowing that they may not be at your level, and they need to be given that chance to learn. But again, the ball goes back to the job seeker. Yeah.
Okay, Emmanuel, when do you think this training of skills should begin? Is it at primary school? Is it at high school or the university? When should it begin?
I think it should be throughout the entire school, the entire schooling, from primary school to high school to even college. I also think that internships shouldn't be at the last semester. They should be at the start of the semester, so guys are motivated to even learn and to seek more responsibilities and more knowledge about what the career they're doing. So they need to turn the internship from the last semester to the first semester, so that after going to these jobs and then seeing what goes on, you know what to put in and the effort that needs to make you a greater person. Yeah.
So the new curriculum that is under implementation right now, the main agenda behind it is to make sure that people have these skills. It's to make sure that you don't spend your whole entire years in school reading things that probably you don't even want to venture in. Do you think that it is going to make graduates better people for the market?
I think that's very, very personal. It depends with the individual, because even now with the current system, we still have very good people in the market. We still have very good talent. Yeah, that is coming from the same system that we are changing. So again, it goes to the individuals and how they are given that culture. Just to come back on the attachment that he's talking about, there are some people who go for attachment because it's a requirement by the school. So it's a bigger thing of having to talk to people, to have that mentor shift. For them to know actually what they are doing is building their experiences. We have interns who will come to workplaces and all they learn is how to do filing, printing, clerical job. Very different from what that internship was intended for. Yeah, because they can't push themselves to ask for more, they're not hungry for knowledge. Yeah, and then unfortunately no one can do that for you. Yeah.
So now what do we do to make sure that even in these systems that probably it is not as well as we call it, even if I have to get the 50 from it, what do we do to make sure that when the graduate is going out there to search for that job, he or she is well equipped, he or she has no doubts, and they can perform without having someone have to take them through another program of teaching them what to do and what not to do?
I think for me it's just balancing the theories and the practicals. I hope we don't have cases like this whereby maybe you're teaching computers, computer science, and people are just reading it in class and there are no computers, there's no computer lab, So that's something to do with the quality assurance from the school level, from the school. By the time they're certifying this university to be passing this particular course, this particular program, has that school passed the minimum in terms of the quality assurance from the government aspect and from the school's management? So for me, it's just that balance. I'm sure we have had colleges like Utali, which is very well known for the kind of graduate that it churns out, because they have their own kitchens, they have their hotels and all that. So people learn at the same time. It's very much well implemented with them. Or even our KMTCs, where people learn, but they still have to go for practicals, not at the end, but throughout their practical that they are doing with the whatever. So I would go for a mixture of that, whereby people know that as much as it is theory, can we try to make it as practical as possible? And that's that even with the lecturers that we have, whereby maybe you'll have a lecturer who has never worked. Yeah. So you finish the undergrad, they go for their masters, go for their PhD, and maybe that person only gets now to do consultancies now after at the PhD level. But actually what they're just still passing is still the theory that that you can get from Google or from wherever else. Yeah. So it's just knowing that you have to have that balance and making it a culture change, so that people know that it starts with you as an individual. We are the system, because it will be me teaching, it will be me as the teacher and all that, knowing that I have to have that balance. Yeah.
So now we know the government has really tried, and it's pushing for industrial training for people after Form 4. You get to go to undertake some courses that are going to impact you now with the skills. Do you think this is going to help?
I think we have to wait and see. I think we have to wait and see, because the government, you can totally rely on the government to really do your job. It's your responsibility to go out there and find knowledge about this thing. And I think it might help, and I think it needs to be implemented very fast, because guys are losing faith in these higher institutions. Because guys, I'm sure you have a friend who says, why should I go to the campus when I can still learn these things on the job? I mean, look at guys in our career, the media world, guys like Maina Kageni, guys like Julie Gushuru, who haven't really gone to journalism classes or something, but they're still setting the bar. They're not just setting the bar, they are the bar when it comes to performance. I mean, they're functioning on a whole nother level. So it needs to be implemented very, very fast, because guys are losing faith in these institutions. Yeah.
So now, final remarks from you, Jane. What should students now, that is a graduate, what should they do? Because it doesn't only take the government, the system, it also takes the student. What should they do to make sure that they have these skills in regardless of the situation?
Just make it your business. Make it your business to build your experience. Yeah. And as early as even after high school, you don't even have to have gone to college. Get yourself to do something. Don't spend all your time watching TV and doing all that sorts of things. Get yourself busy. It doesn't matter even if you're volunteering in a children's home. Trust me, the stuff you're learning there, the skills you're learning there. And I keep giving this example of the people who grew up in church. Just an example. And they keep giving leadership in church. They're the ones who did the choir. They're the ones who I don't know who do what in church. Those people always have better communication skills than the rest of us. They're able to face crowds. They have more confidence. I'm not saying they're holy, you know what I mean? But they have skills that they actually get from that kind of exposure. So even at your own level, that volunteership, trust me, you're going to learn skills that will be transferred to your workplace. And sometimes when you're hiring people fresh from school, we go for volunteer experience in addition to the internships. But have you volunteered? Have you been away from your parents? Yeah. Have you interacted with the world, people who don't know you and are not treating you like the baby that you are to your family members? So for me, my take is make it your business. Go out there and build that experience. There's nothing small or big when it comes to that.
Emmanuel, for you're a young person now. Talk to your people out there and tell them, to your other young people, tell them, what does it take?
So I think I'm going to add on to what she said. I mean, volunteering in church. I started voicing advertisements and voicing commercials in church. So the things I learned in church that I didn't learn in school. So it's going to help you. So just volunteer somewhere that's relevant to your career path. If you're in comedy, MCJC started doing comedy in church. And I also started doing my voicing in church. So many people started doing their things in very different places. So start doing something and make it your work to know these things.
Thank you very much for being with us. And for our viewers back at home, avail yourselves. Make sure that every opportunity that comes your way, whether it is in the church, community service, every avenue is a learning avenue. And these are the avenues that you're going to get the opportunity to acquire these skills from. Thank you very much for staying with us on Y254 News. My name is Patricia Morioki. Do have yourselves a very good night.